Hello and welcome to the section 5 of the parallelized tests. We've played various types of data providers as well as we've checked the different engines. One last major enhancement we need to exercise is the test parallelization. In this section, we'll take a look at the following topics: core test design updates, setting up Selenium grid, run data-driven tests in parallel. In the end, since it's the last section, we'll make a final overview of the course. And let's start with the first video dedicated to core test design updates to make tests running in parallel. Mainly, there are the following groups of components sensitive to parallel execution: all global objects, as they are global and accessible from everywhere; shared user data, including user accounts, as we can be at risk of doing modify and delete operations on the same thing simultaneously; shared local resources, which are used for write-delete operations. Generally, these components will become safe if we isolate them based on each specific thread. Also, we are pretty secure with the read-only components. Thus, our list of improvements is a bit shorter. If we get back to our samples, we can see that we may need to do something with the driver and page classes, as they contain static fields, which can be overridden during parallel execution. For instance, the driver class has the driver field, which is the only one. If we run several tests in parallel, some of them will override this field. Similar situation takes place for the page class and the current field in particular. So, this is mainly our scope of changes. Let's start with the driver class. We should make sure that we uniquely identify the current thread. For this purpose, we have getThreadName method. It returns a string based on current thread name and number. Next step is to replace the driver field with a concurrent hash map, which associates each driver with some specific thread. This way, each specific thread will have dedicated WebDriver instance. Once we've added the map object instead of single WebDriver, we need to update the add and current methods. Major change is that we no longer have driver field. If necessary, we can declare the variable, but mainly for add method we need to initialize the driver and put the value into our driver's map based on current thread name, which is the key. Using current thread name as the key, we can retrieve current thread object, which is an update to the current method. We are done with the driver class, so we can switch to the page class. For the page class, we have static field corresponding to current page. So the approach is the same. Firstly, we define concurrent hash map, where we associate current page with the current thread name. Then, we take getCurrent method and update it to retrieve current page object based on current thread name, which is about call to driver getThreadName method. After that, we update setCurrent method, which populates current page's hash map using current thread name and new page parameter. In order to make sure we didn't break anything, we can run some sample tests and see that it is still operational. And this is it for the major enhancement for parallel execution. We already can play with various parallel options, but before that we need to go through some infrastructure options.